together, it could really be managed and be helped. So I do want to end with the suicide hotline, because some people have gotten confused. You know, that the number that you can dial is 988. I know it was previously a like very long number, but you could just simply dial 988 when you're having thoughts of harming yourself, when you're having thoughts of just being alone, and someone can really help you and guide you to the right person to talk to. And also, some people search for therapists. I know in my office, we do some therapy work pro bono, and we will do a sliding scale fee if you don't have insurance at the time. But other than that, we do take all insurances. So if you do have an insurance card, on the back of your insurance card, you can find who takes your that particular insurance, and you can begin to work with that provider. Because some people, that's a block as well. They're like, I can't pay for this. I heard that therapists are expensive, but there are ways to work around it and ways for you to get help. Okay?
Yeah.
I love you. Thank you, Dr. OMG. Dr. OMG. That was crazy when I created that character in the play. It was a new character, and then we did a show on Poolside, and she was there, and I told her I'm looking for someone to play Dr. OMG, and her husband looked at me and like, that's her name, so it was just nothing but God, nothing but God. Listen, I want y'all to go on Facebook, and I want you to go and like us, follow us, and try to join us if you're a mental health profession or in the mental or the health field. Provider Support Group of Virginia, created by my friend, my sister, Lady J. Yeah, I'm giving everyone a lady. Lady J, Lady T, Lady D, and a lady OMG. All right, so go follow us on Facebook. I joined the group, and at first I told Lady, I said, Devlin, I'm not a provider. And she said, but you're providing us. That's how she is. She has a way of making you do something, but in a positive way. And she said, you're providing a service, right? You do play on mental health, right? And I was buying in, and she was right. And so again, like us, follow us, provider support group of Virginia. You saying that right? That's right. All right, so we're going to close out right now. I'm going to bring, look, for a second, Roscoe, come here for a second, man. Look, I'm telling him what to do, older than him, but look how this is going to play out, right? I look up to him. When I say improvisation, I said I need someone to play like the adversary. Turn around, he had the Undertaker hat and jacket. My brother, we went to New Jersey, Hackensack. Shout out to Hackensack. We sold the Hackensack out. My brother came out to see, said, yo, big dude with the hat was serious, had me scared. Like I said, no, he acting, but he was not acting. He was serious, making it up as he goes. So Roscoe, let's talk about PTSD. Let's talk about how and what someone can do to really get help, and what's the core of getting help. What is your perspective on that?
Oh, wow. I really wasn't ready. So, like talking the time. I will tell you that, yes, my story is similar to Billy's. I'm not going to go completely down the rabbit hole. Yes, I was in the Army, went to Iraq, was involved in IED attacks, landmine attacks, rocket fire, small arms fire, vehicle-borne IED. I've been involved in all these type of attacks. And God brought me through unscathed, right? And it was, and I understood my grace, but I did lose a lot of friends in the process. And there's a lot of stuff that I carried from my deployment time. From there, I did, I looked when it's time for me to get out the Army. First thing I said was I need to go seek some type of help. I want to get my disability check up. And so, but in order to get it up, I gotta really talk about these things. You gotta talk about it before you get out of service. They will say it doesn't link back to service in a minute. Yes. Okay, so you gotta talk about it before you get out of service. And I never went to go talk about any problems that I had in service because it was looked at as a sign of weakness, when actually it's a sign of strength. right? And so the military is trying to change that perspective now, but it's a slow-moving process, right? And so coming, getting out of service, getting those diagnoses, but then before that, meeting my wife, who was just up there, so meeting my wife, her working in the mental health field was important for me, but she never had to technically lose the job. She was like, you go home and you can get away from work. She got to come home and deal with a person like me, right? Somebody's going through some things, going through these mental health challenges, and all of my issues on the back end, and she has to deal with that. But I did go to Hampton VA Hospital, and I think Hampton VA Hospital is excellent at trying to figure it out, right? They're excellent at trying to help you. They got a lot of resources, but there's some good doctors that was working with me. And one of the things I had to do was I had to take some medication to get through this point. I was at one of the problems I really had was in the middle of the night I couldn't cut off my dreams from my body acting out. Okay, so in my while I'm sleeping, I'm going through this war in my dreams. I'm fighting in my sleep. I'm waking up on the floor because I done kicked and punched myself out of the bed. But my wife is right there beside me, and she's caught attacks in the middle of the night just because I'm swinging. I'm a big guy. There's a lot of swinging going on. Okay, that's a lot of pain. And so I had it going. And my goal was to try to get some way to break the connection between my dreams and my body at night. You're not going to stop dreaming. So the medication and the work that I did with Hampton VA was helping me to cut that link off between my dreams and my body at night, which was important for me. And then dealing with other stuff, recognizing the pieces of the things that I'm going through is okay. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to go through some problems, but there's a way to work through it. And so what you asked me was, what did I use? I think one of the most important things is we was looking back with my psychiatrist and said, hey, what do we want to work on, or what steps do we want to do? We have all these different programs. I said, okay, let me take a look at your program, the list of your programs. I'm going to bring them to my wife, and then we're going to decide. My wife looked at the programs and said, you need to get into cognitive processing therapy. And she said, that'll be a great program for you. So I said, okay, I went back to the doctor. I said, doc, I want to do cognitive processing therapy. Right, and they have a CPT app on your own that you can put on, that you can download to your phone. It does say it's a VA app, but anybody can use it. But it's cognitive processing therapy was one of the main things I think that helped me. It helped me to recognize the fact that it's okay to go through what you're going through and to think the way that you think. But there's other ways you need to process that and sort of looking at that and kind of countering the way that you're thinking about it. And maybe it makes a little bit of change, but I think about anytime I go through issues, that's what I think about at that moment is kind of the steps I took in the cognitive processing therapy when I'm dealing with those issues to say, okay, it's okay to go through this, but is there another way to look at it? Is there another way to view this? Is there a better response that I can give on the back end? And that has helped me to show out in public and show out right and portray happiness a lot of times, even when I'm going through it. Fake it till you make it, if they want to call it that. But absolutely, that was one of the most important things that I did with cognitive processing therapy. And so, with anybody, seek care, seek help, ask questions. There are plenty of resources out there. There are plenty of 1-800 numbers, 988, as my wife talked about. There are plenty of apps that you can put on your phone that are free for you to get care. Those things are out there. Talk to someone. You're not going to always figure it out yourself. Like everybody talking big guy like going to the gym. Somebody said, man, I'm going to go to the gym as soon as I lose this weight. No, I think you need to start going to the gym. You need to start working it out in the process. It doesn't work that way. And so mental health works the same way. I'm going to go see somebody when I get it together. Oh, you see them so that you can get it together. Right? You see them so you can get it. I'm going to come to church, Pastor, as soon as I get my life right with God. Where you going to get your life right with God at if you don't understand what God is talking about until you go to church, right? So those type of things need to happen. So that's all I got. Thank y'all very much.
Without a speech. He did not write a speech. I quote God. That is exactly how my brother is in the spirit. So we're going to close out. I'm going to bring my wife, Lady D, back up here so she can speak into your lives briefly or whatever God does with her. Because I'm going to tell you something. She had to put up with me with this crazy idea. I said in the beginning, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what God was really telling me to do. It was this way. It was that way. We would spend money this time and make nothing back. So I was realizing it wasn't really about the money. As Bishop came and said, he's cutting off the tithes and offerings. Sometimes you gotta let God fill you up. He knows your heart. He knows that you're giving into his house. So we was pulling from our house. Money after money. We went and she stood by me with this. But she has her own ministry. She has her own call of life. And I have to support her. No matter what, as if I would come to her with an idea of let's do cardboard box business, she would research it and find out where to get the cardboard from. Come the next day and say, this costs this costs that, and that. So the same with her. Whatever she has, I will support. Let's welcome back Lady D. She's going to close us out with some words of encouragement. Lady D.
Again, we thank you all for coming out. Everything is strategic. God is always strategic. It doesn't matter how many people are in the building. It's about what you say and how you impact and then how you impart. One of the things that I was thinking about as I listened to everybody's story, and there are so many, avenues where depression can set in, and mental health matters. It really does matter. So as they said, if you find yourself struggling in any area, find help. Find help. God puts people in our path so that they can help us. They're not just there because they feel like, going to school for this particular thing. God plants a seed inside of us all. And that seed that he plants, he gives us things to water it. Now, one of the things that we did not say today, and I think it's very, very important to understand that not only do you go through mental health issues when you have some kind of trauma or anything like that, one of the things I know from myself is depression, suicidal ideation comes through your finances. Through your finances, that's one of the things, and we overlook it. And I don't want anybody to walk out this door thinking that, that's the only way that it can come. Finances have me so wrapped up and bound that I couldn't even think straight. And one thing that will always, stay with me, and I will always speak about it, is that one time we were going through, now as he said, we've been evicted, we've had some cars taken from us, we've lost some things along the way, but one thing remained intact was my belief in God. That I know, God, that you're going to get me through. I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know which way you're going to go, but I know that you're going to bring us out if we just hold on. But still, in all of that, I had to understand that my mind was being attacked. Because no matter how good we had it, no matter how bad we had it, my mind was always thinking, and then I started to set into fear. So when you said fear, it tickled me because I said, okay, God, I see what you're doing, and I hear what you're saying. Finances can have you so bound that you think you cannot make it out. So the thing is that we want to look like we have it all together all the time. And we did that. Some of us can master that look. I can master that. Give me a little bit of makeup, a nice pair of jeans, throw it on with a top and some shades, girlfriend. Put some makeup on and go ahead about your business. And nobody ever knows that I went into the house and I wanted to kill myself. I wanted to kill myself. My kids, they were going on with life and we were trying to make it. And they would go to bed, he would go to bed, and I would sit up in the middle of the night and I would cry. I would cry so hard because I did not know what to do. I didn't know how it was going to come together. I just knew it would, but God went. And sometimes when we're sitting in the moment and we're waiting, it just seems like it's so long. But I want to say to somebody today, it's not going to be long. God hears you. He came for you today. Whatever it is. It may not be your finances. Whatever it is, he came for you today. Whatever he's going to say may not come through me, but it came through somebody today. But I want you to know you don't have to look like the Joneses. Because the Joneses was trying to look like the Smiths. The Smiths were trying to look like the Wallaces. The Wallaces was trying to look like the Thomases. And the Thomases was trying to look like that other family. They had no idea who they were. All they know is that they looked good, but they had no idea. They had nothing. They had nothing. I always look at it like this. I see a big, beautiful house across the street. I see all of the shingles on the house. Everything is made just perfect and just right. The grass is so green. The fence is so pretty. The wife comes out is so beautiful. The husband comes out. He looks like he got it all together. They got this big old grand door. When you walk in the door, you see nothing behind it. Nothing behind it. But all they knew is that when they walked outside, they had to look and give their best and give their all, right? I'm telling you today, you don't have to do that. Get to a place where you can find safety. Safety. Safety is not only in the arms of Jesus Christ. It's not only in the doors of the church. Safety could be at the doctor's office, sitting right in front of a therapist, telling that therapist everything that you need to say. Everybody needs a therapist. Please don't be fooled. The therapist is not for a crazy person. The crazy person is the one who thinks they can go on without getting help. Okay?
Amen.
That is the crazy person. Don't let nobody fool you that if you sit down and you talk to somebody and you spill your guts, I'm telling you, that is one of the most, that's the most rewarding thing. I remember sitting on the edge of the bed, and I'm going to close out with this. I was sitting on the edge of the bed and we were going through a tough time. I sat on the edge of the bed and we were going through something, I can't even remember what, but it was so heavy. And I had nobody to talk to because, you know what, I had got married and I had left home. And I was one of the first persons to get married in my singles ministry. So all of them looked up to me. I had this big, beautiful ring on my finger. I had everything laid out. We had a plan that was so tight. And I'm telling you, we went through counseling. We went through everything. We had it all together. I got here and lost everything. So I could not go back home and tell them I needed help. I couldn't tell them because I was like, God, did I marry someone out of the will? Did I do something out of your will? And he says, no. So I realized that that journey that we were on was because he wanted us to be here on this platform. He wanted us to share our story with transparency and say, I am not what I look like. I don't look like what I've been through. Because if you saw what I've been through, I would look a total mess. Straight garbage can material. But because of God, I made it through that moment where I was slowly slipping into depression. And I went so deep that I was fighting. The enemy I was fighting. But my body was just sitting there. And I had this blank stare on my face. I heard Prince calling me. And it lasted about an hour. I heard him calling me. I heard him crying. I saw him on the floor. He said, Deborah, if you just answer me, if you just come back to me, I'll take you home. I'll take you home. I'll take you out of this. And I could not even answer him. I was fighting on the inside, trying to get back to my body. And all I could feel was the tears coming down. I couldn't answer. And my enemy started praying. And my enemy started fighting. And I felt myself coming back. And I'm telling y'all, the way I'm rocking now was the way my spirit was fighting to get back. And when I finally got back to myself, it was like I just sat down, like the spirit just sat down and I did like this. And I just looked at him. But I knew that God was taking me on a journey that I would never ever begin to explain. All I can say is that God is coming. I don't know when. I don't know how. I don't know how he's going to show up for you. But he will show up, whether it be through a therapist, whether it be through a pastor, whether it be through a stranger on the street. He hears you, he knows you, and he loves you. With that, we're going to say to you, thank you so much for coming. God bless each and every one of you, your houses, and everything that you're going to face in life. Just know that that God is for you and He has someone for you. All right?
Thanks, lady. Always making somebody cry. Well, we're going to close out. Listen again on the My Life Matters. Let's Talk documentaries, and we're working on it right now as we're doing this right now. Miss Hewlett, thank you for opening your doors to us. You were such a blessing. I mean, above and beyond. When I met you, you were just so giving, you know, and it was sincere. And then you had no business. I mean, not to say you didn't have no business, but the way you just sold into us, you didn't know what I was going through. I walked out of my job. You know, I worked with Bishop before. I had jobs paying $50,000, $60,000. You know, I had a partner and we had a sports bar. And again, God was showing us some stuff. We had a flood, sports bar didn't open, then we had a fire in our house where Jada was little and the cabinets caught on fire. So we had a flood at our sports bar, and then we had a fire in our home. And we went through the battles just for this, and we still kept our mind. One of the things me and Lady D, when we prayed, we said, God, keep our mind. Keep our minds. And even when we were in the hotel, even when our cars were on the tow truck, Lady D jumped up, started laughing. I said, you all right? What are you laughing at? You got no car. And she said, we just have to trust God. Because if that's what the devil's going to throw at us, taking those little stuff, those little things we can get back. And the kids didn't even know we were struggling. So keep your mind. Keep your mind. And I love y'all. And I thank every last one of you guys for coming in, Bishop and Lady T. I thank you for just showing up, and my cast members of My Life Matters. Please support Roadshow Alliance Suicide Prevention. Go to roadshowadalliance.org. You can sow a seed. You can, I mean, my goodness, we do need money to go city to city, state to state, but at the same time, we do this from our hearts. And God knows every time we do the play, I say, cast members, we're coming, we're gonna bless you, and they just said, it'll come, and they stick around with this, and I love them for that. I love every last one of them for going on this journey with me. All right, so thank everybody. Thank you, Chef. Food is good, because I see no one has anything in there, so I know mine is going to be on the chain. God bless you.
It's something that Lady D said that's very important. Number one, I wanted to mention this, but I just, we don't have to do what we're not able to do.
That's right.
That thing, we haven't gone back to our building yet. We went back for a short period of time. My wife kept saying, you really want to go out there? You really want to go out there? So since the pandemic, we still have not solicited tithes and offerings. That's been, what, 3.5 years?
Wow.
We have not solicited tithes and offerings. People have dropped off because they couldn't buy us with their finances. If you don't want to do it, you don't have